All right. Well, welcome to another special episode of the UAC podcast. We are here with one of the top 20 most influential chiropractors, Dr. Russ Rosen. First of all, congratulations on your nomination and making it to the top 20 most influential people in chiropractic. It's so great to see you here. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. And it is quite an unexpected honor. I was really blown away last year when I looked at the list of people, some of my absolute all-time heroes in there. For me to just be on a list, I was so excited, and I thought it was a joke. I literally told my wife, like, this is a joke that I got in the top 20." So yeah, it's really quite an honor, and to be acknowledged again is really wonderful.
Well, it's well deserved, and I'm just going to have you tell our audience a little bit about you. I mean, most people know you. We know you as you're a very dynamic and passionate speaker, chiropractor. You're an author, right? Coach and educator of chiropractic and lover of chiropractic. So, just briefly, tell us about you and your story.
Yeah, I worked as a chiropractor from '87 till about 2000 in Maui. I had a wonderful practice, and then I left practicing and started coaching in 2000. And my company is the Optimal Health Coaching System. So my main focus is helping doctors who want to help their patients get healthy and stay healthy for a lifetime versus just getting them out of pain or masking their symptoms while they rot to death. And I work a lot with practitioners who want to do lifestyle advice, eat better, exercise, deal with stress. I had such a wonderful time in '06 to '08 working with Pat and the um, the whole group over there, and it was such an exciting time because it's how I practiced. I did neuro-emotional work, and I did dietary changes, and I did, um, nutritional work and of course, chiropractic. I did network and AK-based techniques and, of course, standard adjusting, etcetera. So I had a very different style of how do we help people get healthy and stay healthy. Um, and then that's really what I started focusing on with the people that I coach. So it's been a real labor of love. I love what I do. I'm luckily at a place now where I don't have to work anymore, but I choose to, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm really excited and passionate about doing it.
Love that. Working for fun. That's the key to life, to happy life.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
so UAC has been leading the charge on, recognizing the people in our profession that are quietly or loudly moving us forward and advancing us. But it can be a kind of a word that people are resonating with or not when we talk about the word influence. What does that word mean to you? What do you think it means to you just in general to be an influential chiropractor?
Really interesting question. Especially right now, I just spoke at Life West 2 weeks ago. There's I recently looked up how many chiropractic schools there are, and I was surprised to see there are 56. I could name about 8. And
Yeah.
there's all these schools that are teaching chiropractic that have no idea what chiropractic is. They they don't mention a subluxation, and if they do, they're specifically talking about it. What a horrible thing that is to, be talking about a subluxation because it's not real. And there's so many lost souls out there, chiropractors who don't really know what it is that we do. And so there's a handful of us old timers left, and obviously a lot of new folks that are out there influencing the profession, letting them know there's another way. And the vast majority of people that come and work with me doing one-on-one coaching, they start off whispering quietly, like they really don't know what's going on. one of the first questions I ask them is, what is chiropractic and what is a subluxation? And I either get the most common answer is this, and it's just a deer in headlights, or I get this, long, ridiculous answer. Very, very few people have any idea what a subluxation is or how it fits into our profession. So for me, it's very important. My life was saved by a chiropractor in 1968. Chiropractic has given me a wonderful life. I've seen miracle after miracle after miracle in my own practice. And now that I've been coaching for 26 years, um, the miracles that I hear from the doctors that I coach. And so I just personally hate to see what has happened as far as the profession goes. Obviously not the 5 or 6 schools that are teaching what we know to be as chiropractic. And so I'm trying to just stand out there and help these poor souls out there that really don't understand it. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to communicate it. They don't know the value of their care. And I work with them to help them really get it so they can then start really helping their patients get healthy and stay healthy versus just getting out of pain.
That's beautiful. Um, and I love that, and I can share that, chiropractic also, I would say figuratively, saved my life just because of the gifts that it gives us, right? I didn't have that um, m- m- you know, story that was one adjustment that changed my health. But I know I had many adjustments that have absolutely changed the trajectory of my health and life. And I got my education by listening to docs like you in the car. I was just sharing with you a little bit. I don't know how far back it goes, but it was a cassette tape. And, I would listen to so many speakers like yourself, and that was where I didn't get it from school. That was how I built my foundation. And I just feel like in our profession that there's this, I wonder if you agree, this really transition of, you know, docs that are my age that had come up in that. And the lack of what we're seeing, of course, we have, yourself and some of the other doctors still out there doing that. But are we reaching this younger age where they may not be coming to in-person events, or they may not be doing coaching? How do we speak to them, this next generation or the newer generations? How do we speak to them? Do we speak to them differently, or do we just go to old school and just do more of that?
Yeah, it's a really great question. So whenever we look at marketing, it's about really clarifying who our niche market is. And that would be chiropractors of any chiropractor, and certainly ones that are dying on the vine that don't get what we do. And then what would the message be? Well, the message is really simple. This is what chiropractic is. You can help more people in ways than you could ever imagine and have a better life than you could ever imagine. You don't have to just be pounded down high spots and dying on the vine. The tricky part is how to get the message to them. So that part I'm not so sure about how we get the message to them. I do know, because I've been pretty involved over here. Um, Now that I'm in Northern California for the time being, over at Life West. So they're at a school like that, you're getting chiropractic. At Sherman with Chris Kent, you're getting chiropractic. There's a handful. I think there's a new one in Melbourne right now where you're getting chiropractic. So those people are coming out, at least philosophically, they understand the value. They don't really know how to go out and do it yet because really they have to study to just pass the boards. But like when I go and speak there, it's always, you know, wow, that's fantastic. Why didn't anyone tell us that? And they can't. They don't really have the time. I think the message is really simple. I think the challenge is how do we get it in front of those people? One of the things that I know to be true is the more people we have that are thriving out there in our model, the more other chiropractors in the neighborhood can see it and say, what are you doing that I'm not? So, unfortunately, a lot of people will make those of us that are thriving bad or wrong. And the reason why they'll do that is that they don't want to be bad or wrong themselves, right? No one likes to be wrong. But there are a handful of people that will go and say, what are you doing that I'm not doing? So I'm certainly not the right guy to talk to about how to get that message out there. As far as the message, I'm pretty clear on it. It's just good old fashioned chiropractic. It's helping people in ways that you could never imagine because you've got the nervous system, which controls everything, getting functioning at a higher level. And when that happens and you live your life through your nervous system, look at all the amazing things that can happen. Um, especially with all the technology today. If you can imagine, there was Chris Kent and Pat Tempo, two of my all-time heroes, and them putting together the substation, which I think I got in '96. Um, but if you look at all the technology today, all the ways that we can prove what we do actually works, brain mapping, HRV. I mean, there's, blood work. There's so many cool things that you can imagine if BJ Palmer was alive today, the technology he would be using to prove what it is that we're doing and the level of which we can help people. It's just phenomenal, especially, and Pat and Chris are always talking about this. If you go back to Stevenson and you go back to the older texts, they were proving quantum physics back then. So I don't think it's that the message needs to change so much as just how we're able to get it to them. It's my best shot at that. You
That's
caught me off
awesome.
guard. I don't know.
Amen. Amen. Speaking about this list and going back to the top 20, you mentioned Pat and Chris and the work that they have done in our profession. Who, either on the list or maybe someone who's not, who's quietly influencing our profession, but who do you admire their work and why? Who is really moving the needle in chiropractic today?
Yeah, you know what? Again, I'm probably the wrong guy. I'll tell you my 2 cents on this, but, I live in this tiny little world like this, so I don't know that I know what's really going on out there. I know that Pat and Chris are my all-time heroes out there, my technique gurus who changed my life, which would be, uh Scott Walker doing neuro-emotional technique, Dick Versendahl, who's passed away. He really made a big difference in my life and the way I see helping people. Um, Donnie Epstein, who I was blessed enough to have as a wonderful mentor. Right now, there's John Turner, who does quantum neurologic reset technique. Um, is unbelievable. I coach a lot of doctors who do QNRT, and it goes in and shifts what's going on from the emotional trauma in the brain lobes. And you can take people that have autoimmune diseases and just it's clean it up. People who have anxiety and depression, because you're literally going in and shifting what's going on in the brain. Um, I love that type of thing, and I think he's an absolute genius in what he does. I mean, he literally wrote um, his own neurofeedback program because the ones out there weren't doing what he wanted. So he went and learned neurofeedback so he could write his own. I mean, that kind of guy. So, I've been really blessed, with guys like him, Ted Koren, KST. He's not teaching anymore, but his work lives on. Um, Ron Oberstein, he's what he has accomplished over at Life West is mind-boggling. Uh, Peter and Kevorkian and Patty, they're coming over at Life West right now, and again, his vision, these guys' vision of what they want to accomplish in the profession, is mind-boggling to me. Again, I live in this tiny little world that I don't have the kind of impact that they have. So those humans are heroes of mine.
Love that. Yeah, all good people to have on our side. Great people.
Yeah.
So, in finishing up here, I have a question for you. When we talk about the trajectory of your work and all of the docs that you've helped and mold, and the people that you've shaped with, the great philosophy that we have, and we hold very close, or hold very sacredly, rather. What is there any work that you would feel is still unfinished? Is there something that a culmination or a peak or an apex of your work that you're reaching toward?
Yeah, that's a really great question. One of the things, one of the greatest honors I've ever had was when Pat Gentempo and Chris Kent gave the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2008. And that was really for communications. It was for understanding the neuroscience of communications and how to get your patients to get what you do so they want what you offer, so they happily stay, pay, and refer for a lifetime. And the reality is, what we were taught, you gotta tell the story, right? You gotta tell the story. Another great one, Billy D, because he's always going, "You gotta tell this story." Um, the reality is when you understand the neuroscience of communications, which really is this simple. Reptilian brain is filtering all information coming up. It's all about survival, food fighting, and fornication. 92 to 90% of all the 98% of all the information coming into us doesn't make it past the reptilian brain, so we never hear it. Then there's the neocortex where we want to get our information to, which is thinking, reasoning, and problem solving. And then if our information gets past the reptilian brain and they get to go, and they think about it, it'll drop into the limbic system or the emotions where all belief systems and all buying decisions are. So the challenge is what we were taught by mothers, fathers, teachers, and preachers is to speak from our neocortex to your neocortex. So Dr. Lynn, I want to tell you about chiropractic. There's a guy named BJ Palmer. He had a wife named Ruth. They had a dog named Fluffy. I had a technique guru named, "This is how I'm going to help you. It's my way or the highway." And they fall asleep. They just start drooling. We've all seen it. We've caused it with our patients. When we understand the neuroscience of communications, we understand that we have to quit speaking from our neocortex to your neocortex. We need to speak from our neocortex to your reptilian brain. If I can speak to your reptilian brain and get its attention, it will wake up and start sending information to the neocortex. It'll make sense. It'll drop into the limbic system. It's a really simple, easy way to do that. Make it about them. So new, novel, and exciting. Just talk to them about them. That's really easy because that's what they're here to talk to us about, right? Their spouses won't listen anymore, but we can listen. And then we can use Socratic questions, stories, and metaphors. And so I would say that my zone of genius is this piece, is learning how to come up with the Socratic questions, the stories and metaphors so that it goes past the reptilian brain. They go like this and they think about it, and then they come back and they say, "Wow, you can help me in ways I never could have imagined." So it's a passion of mine. I'm fingers crossed. I'm really hoping to be able to teach it over at Life West. 100% of the doctors that I've coached have said to me, "God, I wish I would have learned this in school." So we're going to see if that happens or not. I don't know, but I would love it to happen. And it's my passion. It is certainly my zone of genius. It's a way to very quickly help people get what you do so they want what you offer. And truly they happily stay, pay, and refer for a lifetime because they get it. So I'm really just trying to have a bigger impact. I'm trying to get more people to learn how to do that. There's so many wonderful coaching programs out there. Um, Steve Ranson, Remarkable Practice, etc. So many wonderful ones on systems. I was talking to Pat about this, and he was saying long time ago when it comes to, the neuroscience of communications and getting people to learn how to communicate it in a way that people can understand it. You're king of that hill, and I really do feel that that's true. Certainly not in all systems, but in that system. So the more people I can get to understand how to get their patients to get the bigger picture. That's really what I want to see happen.
Wow, that's so practical. Thank you for sharing that. And that absolutely needs to be a part of every subluxation-based school. Well, let's keep it to there, but every school's curriculum, honestly, when we're learning about chiropractic, like you said, it's the messaging and how do we get our, the message speaks for itself, but how do we get that to be received? So, thanks for touching on that and sharing that practical tip with us. So, thank you so much for being here, Dr. Russ. Any final parting thoughts?
Yeah, just first of all, thank you so much for having me in this discussion. It really is quite an honor. I certainly, uh, I think the only, yeah, I certainly am more surprised than anyone to be on this list, but humbled just the same. And the reality is, and I know we hear this all the time. You're talking about the on purpose tapes, and they were tapes back in the way. Back in the day. I did my first one in '02, right? And I think I did 4 or 5 of them over time. There's always the war cry. There's never been a better time to be a chiropractor. There's never been a better time to be a chiropractor. But the truth is, right now, there's never been a better time to be a chiropractor. With RFK Jr. and all that he's doing, people are looking for help. They're looking to get healthy and stay healthy. They know that the system is broken. They know that what they've been doing isn't working. They know that they're swimming in toxic soup. They they know that they're looking for something that will work, and we have an answer. Now, I know that this doesn't always go well with all of the chiropractors I speak with, but I'm just going to speak my truth. We don't have the answer. We don't have the only answer. There's so many wonderful things out there that people do to help people, and they wouldn't do them if they didn't work. Just like our techniques, they work when they do, and they don't when they don't. And it's why it's nice to have a bunch of arrows in our quiver of how we can help people. I think it's a critical piece of the puzzle that, just last piece on this. When I was in the chiropractic school, Dr. Carl Cleveland III came in our first day of school, and he talked about chiropractic and philosophy. And he said, when my father, so his father, this is a long time ago now, when he started, uh, teaching chiropractic and under BJ Palmer, people were getting about 5 pounds of sugar a year. Right? I mean, it's just like the whole world has changed so much that there's so many things that work out there that we can build relationships with naturopaths, with osteopaths, with kahunas, with medical doctors. There's so many wonderful things going out there. And we are a specialty. We're a specialty. We should be paid like a specialty, like a specialist. And some of us do, we do brain mapping and we do neuroemotional work and we do work with nutrition and changing of diet, et cetera. And some of us don't want to do all that. All we want to do is the atlas only, and it all works. Just know your zone of genius. Know what your specialty is. Build relationships with others so that you can cross pollinate with, and together we can better help people get healthy and stay healthy.
Love that. I second that. I believe we truly are living in one of the greatest times of opportunity in our profession, and it's thanks to docs like you.
Yeah.
And so the pleasure and honor was ours today. Thank you so much, Dr. Russ.
Thank you so much.